One of the most popular cooperation agreements and contractual agreements is franchise. Okay, franchise. Maybe you can find many different definitions of franchise, which are less inclusive, which are narrower. I am going to give you one which is wider because it includes all the kinds of franchises that you may find. Okay, so a franchise is a contractual agreement through which one of the parties, called franchisor, grants the other, called franchisee, the right to exploit a business model. So the franchisor is giving the franchisee a business model. A full model. It says, okay, you are going to do this. This is the business model you are going to run. So the franchisor gives the franchisee the business model. It can also give the franchisee, depending on the specific contract, okay, the franchise, it can also give the franchisee the know-how about the business model. This is obvious. If you give the business model, normally you give the know-how. Okay, can give technical help if in the business model it includes some machinery and so on. Also, the franchisor can give technical help. It was the case of Yao Yao, if you remember. Okay, raw materials or the product, the finished product, it depends. Sometimes it's raw materials, so that you produce the product. The case of Telepizza supplies the raw materials to the franchisee restaurants, okay, and they prepare the pizzas and so on. Sometimes it's the finished product. For instance, in the case of Rodilla, they bring to the restaurants the sandwiches finished. They don't bring them the raw materials and in the restaurant they prepare the sandwich. No, the sandwiches come to the restaurants packed. Okay, sometimes the franchisor gives assessment to the franchisee how you should do in order to increase your revenues and so on and so on. And in turn, the franchisee pays. Pays what? First of all, pays an entry canon, which is the right to be a franchisee of that franchise. Okay, an entry canon. This entry canon depends on the specific franchise. I mean, the exact amount. Normally, it's also related with the surface of the shop, of the restaurant, of the establishment, or so on, or on the capacity of production. Okay, then they pay something we are going to call royalty. In fact, purely it's not called royalty. Royalty stands for license agreements, okay? But we are going to call royalty, and this royalty is going to be a percentage of the sales. So let us say 10% of your sales. It doesn't matter the cost, it doesn't matter the amount of sales, it's a percentage. Okay. Also, if the franchisor gives the franchisee raw materials, they pay for the raw materials. If they give them products, they pay for the products. If they give them technical help, they probably pay for the technical help. Sometimes the franchisee also pays a fee for publicity, so long as the franchisor develops joint publicity for all the establishments of the franchise, okay, of the franchise network. So the franchisee pays a given amount to the franchisor for this publicity, for this generic publicity. Well, which are the kinds of franchise networks we can find? The three main kinds. First of all, industrial ones. Industrial ones, they give, the franchisor gives the franchisee a production business. Okay, a production business, an operations business. For instance, the case of Coca-Cola. Okay, the bottlers of Coca-Cola are considered to be industrial franchises. Then we have got distribution franchises. In distribution franchises, in fact, what the franchisee does is that it sells, it distributes, it retails something for the franchisor. For instance, Mango franchisees, Violeta franchisees, they sell something. They just get the clothes and sell them. Finally, we have got services franchises. In services franchises, you know that in service, the good, or well, in fact, in this case, the service, okay, it is produced whenever it is sold at the same time. For instance, I am going to give you the example of my gym, Brooklyn Fitboxing. In Brooklyn Fitboxing, they deliver us, the customers, a service. So Brooklyn, the franchisor, has created a way of delivering the service. Okay, so it gives the franchisees the sacks, the boxing sacks, okay, and it gives a training method that the franchisee has to follow, And it also delivers some challenges, which are combinations of blows that we, with the music and so on, the customers must perform and so on. So the franchisee is given all of these things, is given a service, a way to deliver a service to the final customer. Okay, and it works. Obviously, the franchisee pays for that. Obviously. Okay. What else? Well, let me tell you about the pros and the cons for each part. For the franchisor, well, first of all, this is interesting. It grants a quick growth without investing. Why? Well, it is the franchisee who invests. I want to open a franchise of you. Okay, great. First of all, pay me the entry canon. Then you are going to pay me given amounts along with. No. If I give you any kind of product, you pay for it. If I give you any kind of furniture, you pay for it. Yeah. So in fact, it's the franchisee who pays for this expansion. It's not the franchisor. Okay. So it also gives the franchisor important potential incomes. Incomes start to come. Also, the franchisor shares the risks of this business with the franchisee, which is also interesting. Finally, and I didn't put it here, but whenever a franchise network grows, whenever it gets new franchisees, the value of the network increases. I mean, the network is more well known, is more valuable, so the franchisor maybe in the future can ask for higher fees to the new franchisees. On the other hand, the franchisor partially loses control. Now the control of individual restaurants, it lays on the hands of the franchisees, okay, and the franchisor can have potential negative impact of franchisees. If a franchisee does things in the wrong way, for instance, if a franchisee of a restaurant has got a health problem, the franchisor is going to get impacted. On the other hand, for the franchisee, the franchisee is paying for success. Okay, is paying to run a successful business model. So you are getting something which is successful. And so long as the franchisor is interested on your success, okay, this franchisor is going to support you. Is going to give you many things which are needed so that you can be successful. And the franchisee has got the franchisor who shares the risk with the franchisee. On the other hand, the franchisee depends on the franchisor. Depends so much that, in fact, for instance, consider a McDonald's restaurant. Okay, can the franchisee choose the product? No. Can the franchisee choose the price? No. Can the franchisee choose the people? No. The colors? No. The dependence is complete. Okay. Also, a franchise is not cheap itself. I mean, the franchisees have to pay money from the very beginning, so it has got important costs and payments compared with if you were working isolatedly without a franchisor. Finally, I told you that the franchisor can have negative impacts on franchisees. Well, this can in turn rebound to another franchisees. So, in fact, if the franchisor has got a negative impact, this is going to create a problem for the franchises. Okay, but let me tell you that franchise networks are really important and frequent nowadays, and they are an attractive and interesting way to enter a business being successful from the very beginning. On the other hand, it has got a cost, obviously, and you have to consider it. Well, now we will move to some other contractual agreements.